But then there's another time Brother Parrott and I went down to hold revivals for Mary Lou and her different villages. And I can remember going up to La Mesa, I think they called it. It was a mesa off of the highway up, and the highway went winding up through the hills or mountains, I guess. It wasn't big mountains, but you could see across valleys. And I can remember seeing a storm moving across this mesa way across the valley, and then there was a rainbow that came over it. How beautiful that was. But anyway, we got down to this road that left the main road and went up to that village, and it was about, I don't know, it's probably a couple of miles. And this village was on top of one of those mesas. And we, Mary Lou had Mary Lou's truck, and we also had Betty's van. And in that van, she carried her accordion in a built-in bench in the back of the van, and she hauled people in it along with it. And so they decided that they would leave Betty's van down at the highway, and they parked it just a little off the road to the road that went up the hill. And it was so rough and long till they wanted to do that. And I tried to get them to, I don't know what I tried to get them to do, take it or something, because I said, look over yonder across the main highway. There was what I would call a cantina or something where they hang out, and back under the porch was a bunch of Mexicans sitting there talking. And I said, Betty, aren't you afraid somebody will steal stuff out of this van? Oh, no, we'll lock it up. Said, they're good people. It'll be all right. Okay. So up we went. I remember we went up there, and we didn't have service up there. We were invited with some of these people from that revival, I think. I get it's been so many years ago, I get my time mixed up, but we were invited to eat with this family up on that, and there was an arbor that they'd built up there to have services. And I can't remember if we had services, or I think Mary Lou and Betty may have read some scripture and kind of had a little service, but we went into this house of these people that had invited us, and it was a little old thatch roof house, and I remember the rafters had different kind of meat hanging from the rafters, like curing, and there was two ladies that was preparing the meal, and it was hot tamales and coffee. I can't remember if it was, what was the name of that coffee? Those leaves they would pick off the trees in their yard. Mary Lou did. But anyway, they had coffee, and they had these, I remember these hot tamales, and there's two old ladies fixing them back in a little room, which we'd call a kitchen. And all it was a little a built-in with a fireplace on top of it. And they fixed these tamales in a metal bucket. And I didn't see it all, but I could just see from where I was in there. But it had a long table. We all sat down around it. And there were chickens that would come in one door and pick around underneath the table. And I think there was a pig come under there. And they just wandered around, and the people didn't think anything about it. So we let it pass too. That's when Brother Parrott told me, he said, oh my, I know I'm going to get Montezuma's revenge again. I do it every time I come down here. I said, oh, let's just ask the blessing and ask the Lord to sanctify it to our body, and that's what we did. And I come out real good, and poor old Brother Parrott, he got sick. But anyway, I can remember going up that hill. It was I've got some pictures, some Polaroid pictures that I made of that. There's a picture outside of one of them little huts up there that had an great big old dead tree. And once in a while you see in paintings people has made of a tree like that. It didn't have a leaf on it, it was dead, but it would just had 6 or 8 big old buzzards sitting in it. and let's see, they had a pet deer up there, and they were just tickled to death that we came. But we came back down the hill and came down to Mary Lou's, or to Betty's van, and sure enough, it was unlocked. They pried the lock or broke a window or something. They got in there and stole her CD radio out of it, and I don't know what else, but they didn't find her accordion. It was in a built-in thing in the back. But anyway, I remember that we went along beforehand. We could talk with a CB back and forth, But anyhow, that's another story. And